live. Okay, all right, so notes 1-3. Okay, so first off, our and statements. So if I had a number line, on our and statement, here's the little cheat sheet. So you guys write this little cheat sheet on yours. Put your number line. And just like we had talked about, we could get chips and a soda. So whatever number, and this could represent any number over here and any number over here. And we could have open or closed circles. When would I have a closed circle? If it did have a line under it, I would have a closed circle because that means it's what's like set in the back. It is equal to. So let's pretend that this side had a closed circle. It had an equal to, and this side didn't. They could both be open or they could both be closed. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, it's based on the sign. Okay, but either way, the graph would look like this. Okay, it would have whatever your 2 points are, whether they're open or closed, and it would be shaded in. One would be shaded greater than, one would be shaded less than. So it would be shaded inside. So my answers would lie inside that. Okay, if it was an or statement, that means I could go to the machine and I only had enough money to buy one thing, so chips or a soda. That would be whatever number, and let's make this one open over here, and another number over here, and we'll just go ahead and make it open as well. It would look like this when I shade it. I would shade out and shade out. So that's what an and looks like. That's what an or looks like. Okay? So there's your little cheat sheet right there you can use on your quiz. All right, so here we go. Number 1. Since I see how many bridges? 2. And the rule is if I got 2 bridges, I want my X in the middle. Okay? Remember on the other ones when there was only 1 bridge, I always told you I like to work with my X's on the left, so we were always moving our X's on the left, all the regular numbers over to the right. Well, in this case, we want the X to stay right in the middle. Is it already in between the 2 signs? Yes, and what is with the X right now? A 2. So I've got to keep it with it. So I'm going to put 2. What is this thing not doing? 2x. And I'm going to go ahead right now and close those bridges because there's no more x's, correct? Okay, close the bridges. All right. What was already on each side? I had a -5 out here. And I had a 15, right? Okay, now where's the 3 go? Where did 3 go if I only had 1 bridge? What would I do with it? I would take it across the bridge, and what happens when it crosses the bridge? Changes signs. Now, since I have 2 bridges, whatever I do to one, I gotta do to the other. So that 3 is now going across, and just like you said, it becomes a -3, but it also has to go across this bridge too. So it becomes a -3 out here. Okay? All right, now we clean it up. -3 minus 5. What's -3 minus 5? -8. We're going one little step at a time. Go ahead and put down your inequality just like it looked. 2x less than 15 minus 3 is 12. Now, just like we did on the other days, how do I get rid of a number being multiplied by x? So how do I get rid of that 2? Divide. So I'm going to divide everything in the club by 2. They cross out. X is, we're going towards that 8 now. X is greater than, what is -8 divided by 2? -4. Going the other way. X is less than, 12 divided by 2 is 6. Go ahead and box it. That is half your answer. Half your answer right there.
Wait, you're not supposed to flip the signs after you divide?
When do I flip the signs? If I divide by a negative. So hold that thought. It's coming. Hold that thought. It's coming. Question was, do I not flip the inequality signs when I divide? And the rule still applies the same as yesterday, is I only flip those signs if I divide by a negative, which is coming up soon. Okay, here we go. On a number line, what comes first? -4 or 6? Working left or right? -4. So I'm going to go over here to my number line. And I'm going to throw a -4 on here. Just throw it out there. Boom. And then I'm going to throw a 6 out there. Boom. Okay. Now, looking at my inequalities, is either one of those going to be a closed circle? No, they're both open circles because neither one of those is equal to. So I'm going to go ahead and put my open circle on those. And we're reading it from the x. So from the x, going back towards that -4, x is touching the what side of that one? The fat side, right? So x is greater than -4, okay, but less than 6. So which way is greater than -4? To the right. So I shade right. Then I read the x towards the 6 now. X is touching the skinny side of that inequality, so x is less than 6. So which way is less than 6? To the left. To the left. So there we go. Answers for that, possible solutions for that would be anywhere in between. Could the answer be -4 or 6? No. Why? It's an open circle, and that means it's not equal to, it's not inclusive of those numbers. So any numbers in between them, but not those numbers. Okay? Too easy? All right, looking at number 2 now. Moving on, number 2. All right, we see how many bridges? So we want to get our x's in the middle. Now, obviously, if we had more than one x, we would want to move them to the middle, but in this case, is the x already in the middle? Yes, and that's a 3/4 x. Would we agree? So we write it down. Any other x's? Nope, so close your bridges. If you get in the habit of once you've got all your x's in the middle, closing your bridges, it'll help you to remember what to do. What's on the ends? I have a -7 and a -4. All right, what was also in there with that x that I got to get rid of? The -7. He has to cross the bridges, and when he crosses the bridges of life, he changes to a +7 on both sides. Okay, now we're ready to clean it up. What is 7 minus 7? 0. Put down our inequality. 3/4 x is less than or equal to. -4 plus 7 is 3. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. How do I get rid of 3/4? Well, how did we get rid of fractions yesterday? I divided, which really is flipping it and multiplying it, which is called multiplied by the, starts on R, reciprocal. What is the reciprocal of 3/4? 4/3. Okay, so I have 4/3 that I'm going to multiply by. Whatever I do to one part, got to do to all the parts. Okay, first one's simple. Anything times 0 is 0. Is less than or equal to, these cross out, we agree. X less than or equal to 3 times 4/3. You can either do that by hand or you can do it in your calculator. 3 times 4 is 12 divided by 3 is 4. So all I did was multiply the top. If I made 3 into a fraction, that's 3 over 1, correct? So 3 times 4 would be 12 divided by 3 is 4. Your calculator would give you that same answer. Box it. That's half your answer. On the number line up here, which comes first from left to right? 0. So I put down my 0. Is that going to be an open or closed at the 0? Closed, because it is equal to. And then over here I got a 4. Open or closed? Closed, because it is equal to. Now, reading from my x towards that 0. X is touching the fat side over here, right? So x is greater than or equal to 0. So I shade which way? To the right. To the right. Okay. Now I'm reading it from the x to the 4. X is touching the skinny side. So that's x is less than or equal to 4, so I shade to the left. Okay. So it's any answers in between. Could the answer be 0 or 4?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because there's an equal.
Because they are equal. They are colored in. They are inclusive. So those are possible solutions to it. So on a quiz or a test, if I gave you a multiple choice and said, can 5 be a solution? You would say, no. Can 1 be a solution? Yes. Can 0 be a solution? Yes. Okay, moving on. What does anything touch in parentheses mean? We've already done this. It means multiplying because there's more than one thing. I distribute it. That's called the distributive property. What is that negative in front of that negative right there or after it? It's a -1. I like to put the little -1 in there so that I remember at the end that I got to divide by -1, which then bells and whistles are going to go off, but we'll get to that. So here we go. First things first, we got to go ahead and distribute that guy through. So I got -1 times x is -1x. -1 times a -1 is +1. Bring down my signs. So a less than 4 over here is greater than or equal to -4. Okay, now we're back to just like we did with the previous two problems. So the only thing different, we just had to multiply, distribute through. Now we're back to exactly where we started on problem 1 and problem 2, which is getting our x in the middle by itself. Is -1x the only x up there? Yes. And is it already in the middle? Yes. So let's write it down. -1x. Let's go ahead and close those bridges. We don't want anything else coming in the middle since there's no more x's. Nothing else comes in the middle with us. What was already on the ends? -4 and 4. We agree? Okay, what was in there with that -1x that I got to get out of there? That +1. He's got to cross the bridge of life both ways. And so +1 becomes a -1. Too easy, right? Okay, let's clean it up. -1 minus 4 is -5. Is less than or equal to -1x, which is less than 4 minus 1 is 3. Last step. Got to get rid of that -1 from that x. How do I do that? Divide by what? By what? Beep, beep, beep. Bells and whistles go off. You said divide by a negative. So I divide everything by a negative, which means I have to flip those inequality signs. So x still is in the middle. That is no longer a greater than or equal to. It becomes a less than or equal to. What is -5 divided by -1? A +5. On the other side, it is no longer less than. It now turns to a greater than. What is 3 divided by -1? -3. Box it. Box it, circle it, whatever it. Highlight it. Okay. Which number comes first, working left or right on my number line? Nice. Somebody said over there, -3? You are right. -3. And is that -3 going to be open or closed? It'll be open because not equal to. And the 5, open or closed? It is closed because it is equal to. So we go ahead and color them in, that one in. Okay, reading from the x towards that 5. X is skinny side, so x is less than or equal to 5. So I shade which way from the 5? To the left, to the left. All right, going towards the -3 now. X is touching the fat side, so x is greater than -3. So I shade to the right, to the right, to the right. Okay. So on a test, if I said, could your answer be 4? You would say, yes. Could your answer be 5? Could your answer be -3? No. Okay, flip it. statements. Now, with my or statements, I like to draw a line in between them, but you can draw it after you do the first one to kind of split them up because they'll be split. It's two separate ones. These are just like we did yesterday. These are where you're only dealing with one bridge. So when I deal with one bridge, I like my X's on the left. Is the X already on the left side of the bridge? Yes, and that is just a 1X or just an X. Is there any other X's on there? No, so I have to close the bridge now. Bridge is closed. Any boats that go through are going to get their top cut off. Any regular numbers already on the right? Yes, a 4. Any regular numbers on the left that I need to bring across? A 7. That 7 crosses the bridge and becomes a -7. Okay, let's clean it up. X is, what's its sign again? Lies. Read from the X. X is touching what? The pointy side, the skinny side. So that means X is less than what? X is less than -3, right? Okay, box it. I like to draw a little dividing line like that. Kind of separate them. On the second one, is my X already on the left side of the bridge? Yes, and it's a what kind of X? -1X. I like to throw the 1 in there just so it reminds me. What sign is that? Less than again, because the X is touching the little skinny side, so X is less than. What regular numbers was already on the right side? A 1. Any on the left side I need to bring across? 7. Goes across, becomes a -7. So I got -1X is less than. 1 minus 7 is? -6. Last step. What do I do? Divide by what? Negative. Beep, beep, beep. Bells and whistles. You said divide by a -1. So divide by -1, divide by -1. That means I must what to the inequality? Flip it. So it's no longer less than, it is now greater than. Negative or negative is a positive. 6 divided by 1 is 6. Box it. Now we're ready for our number line. What comes first on the number line? A -3 or a 6? -3. Open or closed? Open, open, open. Okay, X is what then -3? X is touching the what? Skinny side. So X is less than. Which way is less than? To the what? To the left. To the left. Okay. The other one, we put our 6 down. Open or closed? Open, because it's not equal to. And X on this one is touching the fat side. So greater than. So I shade which way? Right. To the right. Bang, bang, choo-choo train, too easy. Okay. Any questions so far? We're good? We're golden? All right, moving on up to the east side. All right, here we go. Number 5. All right, first thing we look at it, how many bridges? Just one, right? Because it's 2 separate ones. Is the X already on the left? Yes, and it's a 2X. We agree? Is, what's that sign? Less than. Okay, what regular numbers, if any, were already on the right? -9. Any regular numbers on the left I need to bring across? -1 goes across, becomes a +1. 2X is less than, what's -9 plus 1? -8. Now what? Divide by 2. Divide by 2. So X is less than, what's -8 divided by 2? -4. Okay. I like to divide it up like that so I know what I'm working with. Looking at the next one. Is my X already on the left side of the bridge of the inequality? Yes, and it's a 3X. Any other X's? Nope. So I put the sign down. What sign is that? Greater than or equal to. There was a 0 over there. Do I need to put the 0 down? No, because the 0 is nothing. Is there any regular numbers on the left I need to bring across? Negative 15 becomes what? A positive 15. Now what? Last step. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. X is greater than or equal to 5. All right, on my number line, obviously, which one comes first? Negative 4. Open circle because not equal to. Now, if I'm reading from the X, X is touching the skinny side, so that means X is less than negative 4. Which way is less than? To the left. And I throw my 5 on here. And open or closed? Closed because it's equal to. X is touching the fat side on here, so that means X is greater than or equal to 5. So which way do I shade? To the right. Okay. Could 4 be an answer to this? No. Could 6 be an answer? Yes. Could negative 6 be an answer? Yes. Okay. All right. All kinds of good stuff. Okay. Here's what you're going to do. So close your booklet there. You're going to flip it to the back to your A1-3. On your A1-3. A1-3. A for assignment 1-3. You're going to do the evens. So you're going to do 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, when you're done, you're going to turn them in up here. Make sure you put the period on it. If you're at home working, turn in on Google Classroom.